we talk about a lot of different topics. And I think one foundational thing that we talk about, it's actually two foundational things wrapped into one. One of those is leverage. How do we do more with less input or less energy or the same amount of energy? How do we get more out of it? And two, data. How do you leverage data? How do you get data to help you make better decisions? So today, this is going to be something new. We've not done this before. So you see, we're wearing headphones. We have a special guest dialing in today. I'll let you introduce them. But I think it'll be good. This is going to be probably the most hands-on one that we've done. Live experience that we've ever done. And so just bear with us. We'll probably learn something. We haven't really done this before, but we have a guest we're gonna interview today to help. How do you create more leverage? How do you get better data? But here's a really tangible way to do it.
So as Darius mentioned, a very special episode coming in today. First time having a guest. Her name's Claudia. She's going to be on the call with us today. Again, welcome back to another episode of BizMeds. We are your hosts and neuroscience business coaches.
Your name is Saad.
My name is Saad. My name is Saad.
And my name is Darius. And we are here to give you the minimum effective dose. How do we get more for less? Yeah. And how do we get just enough to make your business scale that doesn't create more and more overwhelm for you?
Headphones are throwing me off.
I totally get it. It's weird because now I can hear yourself.
Yeah.
Kind of like your inner voice and your outer voice.
Exactly.
I'm never used to it.
Yeah.
I get it. That was actually pretty funny. Okay, so now that we're into it, we are going to dive into a couple things. One, we're going to use our guest, Claudia. And so if you're guessing who this guest is we're actually going to take you through a real live, like how do you use AI in a way that helps you get leverage, right? And create something for you. And so we are going to pick an example of a business, and we're just going to basically walk you through how we would think about and engineer or prompt with and talk with an AI to help us and help you understand how to use AI better to, when we talk about creating this leverage, how you can do it faster. So it doesn't feel like it's just another thing that you have to do, but now you understand how to use a tool to do that much faster and give you the mental framework to think through it even further to say, okay, I might be trying to solve the right problem, but am I solving it for a long enough time period that I don't have to solve it again for a long time?
Yeah.
Right.
And just to add some more context on like the AI that we're going to be working with, we tested out a few different ones beforehand, and there's no rhyme or, well, actually there is a little bit of a rhyme or reason behind why we're bringing in Claudia on, but for context, Claudia is Claude for anybody that doesn't know. We have tested with ChatGPT. We've tried with Gemini. We've tried with a few different ones. It just kind of felt nice to have Claude for today's.
Yeah, I think without the back-end training that we did in ChatGPT, which is a little unfair, because, we have the ability to look at very specific things. So, we tested it with our scaling framework, our constraint breaker. And so without that information, you wouldn't get the same experience as opposed to, okay, we're just going to use Claude natively, how you would log into it and ask it the questions. And so what we're trying to do, one, is give you a better idea of how to talk and interact with an LLM. So a large language model like Claude or ChatGPT or Gemini or whatever it is. And then the second part is to think through even, when you are trying to solve a problem, how do you kind of continue to think through it in a longer time horizon or in a way that helps you create the maximum amount of value, and also how to get it to think about solving more and more problems in the moment. Is that?
Yeah, I think that's good. Yeah.
Okay. So in this theoretical environment, Saad and I, we're going to talk with Claudia about running a landscaping slash, lawn care business that does about $10,000 a month monthly. And we want to grow it to about $3 to $5 million.
Yeah.
And so we're going to walk through kind of how we would just natively set up the context for it. And then we have it set up so we can push to talk. So we'll then stop and kind of talk about things as we go through it. Say, oh, okay. So you'll see us kind of real time play with the prompting or give additional context or steer Claudia in a different way that we need her to go just based on that feedback. So hopefully this is a really good, just kind of learning opportunity for you who haven't used it, or you have used it, use it slightly better, or you can tell us, hey, you guys are both stupid and this is how you should use it. Yeah. So here we go. I think we're going to be able to dial Claudia in dynamically. She's set up. There we go. We're here waiting to talk. So, all right. Good morning. Saad and I are here, and we are now we are recording a podcast live, and we're sitting here with you, our AI super smart partner. And what we're trying to do is we're setting up we're running a hypothetical company. And we're trying to demonstrate to our listeners and our viewers how easy it can be to use something like Claude to help solve and create leverage in their business. And so that's why we're going to have this conversation today. So we are saying, hey, we run a lawn care business right now, Saad and I, and we do about $10,000 a month in revenue. We really want to grow to $3 to $5 million a year, but we know if we keep doing it the way we're doing it, it's going to be very difficult. And right now we find we're having a hard time keeping track of all the people that we're talking to, potential clients, existing clients, and we have no real good way of keeping track of all that information. What we learned from listening to BizMed's podcast is that, in order to make better decisions, we have to have better data. And so what we've identified as a constraint in our business is kind of the marketing sales pipeline. And we think it'd be really great to have a CRM in place. Now, one of the things we've heard about CRMs is that can be very hard to keep going. So what we're thinking about this as a two-stage problem. One is, how do we set up a CRM? So what's the specific model in a CRM that we would need? So what are the stages of the pipeline? What are the key indicators, key performance indicators that we need to be looking at this stage in the game that, we would look at further out in the business? And more importantly, how do we set all of that stuff up? And the second part of the problem is, how do we help adoption? What are the tools and automations and agents available to us to help us, accelerate this conversation more, or be able to update the CRM information more automatically and streamlined, that requires less and less kind of like manual intervention? So I've given you a lot. We'll give you the moment to think about that and give us some feedback.
Okay, this is awesome. So you're basically saying you've identified that your data pipeline is your bottleneck right now, and you want to build a system that actually scales with your business. That makes total sense. Let me break this into the two pieces you mentioned. For the first part, the CRM structure for a lawn care business at your stage, I'd think about this way. You need stages that reflect your actual sales process. So something like lead captured, qualified, proposal sent, closed won, and closed lost. The KPIs you track at each stage would be things like conversion rates between stages, average deal size, time to close, and your cost per acquisition per. Those are the ones that matter early on, because they tell you where you're actually leaking money or opportunity. For adoption, though, that's where most CRMs fail. People set them up, and then nobody uses them because it feels like busy work. The automation piece is actually your secret weapon here. Instead of manually entering data, you could be thinking about voice notes, text integrations, or even having an AI agent that pulls information from your communications and updates records automatically. Before we dive into the specific tools and how to build this out, quick question. When you say you have no good way of tracking people right now, what's your current system? Are you using spreadsheets, just memory, phone contacts? That'll help me understand what we're working with.
That's great.
What do you?
So effectively what we've done is like give it as much context as possible of what we're trying to work towards and where we currently are. And the beauty of working with AI and Claudia here, she's asked us the question of like, there's some context missing. Like, what are you doing right now?
Mm-hmm.
And how you're working through your business right now. Like there has to be some methodology. So she gave us a couple examples of like, well, are you just tracking it in your head? Is there at least some type of process? Like give me some more context so I can help bridge the gap of where we need to be.
Right. And I also liked it, broke it down. She broke it down to say, okay, here's how you need to start thinking about your sales process, right? So it's leads captured, qualified, proposal sent, closed won, closed lost. So like really simple stages, because from that, you can actually, as you grow and you become maybe a slightly more complex business, like that basic model can be expanded a bit more. You might have a few more stages in between, or you have, different product service lines that you might want to start mixing in. Like that's a really solid base level. But if you don't know that, if you don't know what you don't know, right, you can rely on like a tool like Claude or Claudia to help you kind of think that through. And then looking at the KPIs between those stages, and made the most important distinction is to find out where you're leaking money or opportunity. So this is where we come back to the whole scaling framework, where data can be your best friend, but you need to know which data is the most important, because you can measure everything, but not everything matters.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. And so we want to focus on getting the right data, because once we know what those key numbers are, we can find out, is it the number of leads you're getting in, or is it somewhere along the way, oh, maybe you just suck at converting. Okay, well, we're going to focus there. So maybe we don't need to spend more money on marketing or doing it to do something, because if we fix the conversation that you're having with the client and help you close better, you'll be making way more money.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's, where do we want to go from here? So the question you said, before we dive into the specific tools and how to build this out, quick question. When you say you have no good way of tracking people right now, what's your current system? Are you using spreadsheets, just memory, phone contacts? Help me understand what we're working with. I'm just going to say, hey, we use, or you can tell her.
Or use Excel or something. Yeah.
We use mostly memory and, right? So I'll let you, you tell her.
Hey, Claudia, currently we are just using Excel and like kind of phone memory. We have a chat between the two of us where we'll track and share leads and what's going on, but there's no actual proper KPI measuring method in place at the moment.
Right. So you're basically managing everything through conversations and spreadsheets. That's actually where most small businesses start. So you're not alone there. The good news is you've already got the discipline of tracking things. You just need to formalize it a bit. Here's what I'd recommend as your starting point. Build your CRM around 3 core stages that map to your actual sales conversations. First stage, lead in. That's when you first hear from someone or they hear about you. Second, proposal sent, meaning you've qualified them and given them a price. Third, closed won or closed lost. That's it to start. Dead simple. For KPIs at this stage, you really only need a handful. How many leads are you getting per month? What percentage convert from lead to proposal? What percentage of proposals close? Those 3 numbers tell you everything about your business health right now. Now here's the leverage piece. Instead of manually updating things in a spreadsheet, what if every time you or Saad text each other about a lead, or get a phone call or send a proposal, that information automatically gets logged and updated? That's where the automation wins. Are you guys open to using something like a simple database or a CRM tool? Or do you want to keep living in spreadsheets and just make them smarter?
Well, I think the whole reason we're having this conversation is because we were looking at having a CRM tool that could grow with us and scale as we target. Because we know, based on our, we hear everything as a CRM is really important. And so none of us is extremely technical in background, because we run a lawn care company. So we're trying to find something that's going to be easy, but also as we bring more people into the business later on, it's going to be easy for them, and we can scale those automations for them as well. She's thinking.
Claudia.
Well, we'll have to talk now. So hopefully what we're trying to do is give it more information to say, here's what we're thinking.
Got it. So you need something that's intuitive for non-technical folks, but also powerful enough to grow with you as you scale. Let me search for what's actually out there right now that fits that sweet spot. Because there are a few options that have gotten really good at being both simple and scalable. Perfect. So here's what I'm seeing in the market for non-technical folks like you two. There are basically 3 tiers of options. The free or cheap end. You've got HubSpot CRM or Zoho CRM. They're super approachable. You can start completely free, and they scale. The middle ground is stuff like Urable or Yardbook, which are actually built specifically for lawn care, so the pipeline stages are already set up for you. And then the more robust options like Service Autopilot, which have more power, but also a steeper learning curve. Here's my honest take. Start with HubSpot or Zoho because they're designed to grow with you, and they have massive automation capabilities built in. Plus, when you hire people later, adding them is literally just giving them a login. No per user fees. But here's the thing that really matters for your adoption problem. Once you pick your CRM, the real magic happens when we layer in automation. So your team isn't manually typing things in. That's where Claude or other AI tools come in to help. You could have voice notes automatically turn into contact records, or text updates from the field automatically log customer interactions. That's the piece that makes people actually use it. Does that direction feel right to you?
Yeah, like I'm more curious now, like how do we tie it in? Because in this hypothetical situation, we are complete doorknobs when it comes to technology. So how do we automate that now so that it does most of the work for us and makes it less, tougher for us folks to be able to utilize it?
Go ahead.
Yeah. That's great, Claudia. What we're looking for now is, because we are very technically illiterate, how do we make it so that it is easier for us to utilize the automation that's in place and do more without having to actually do more manually?
Right. So basically, you want the automations to work for you without needing to understand how they work. That's the sweet spot. Here's the practical way to think about it. Most modern CRMs like HubSpot and Zoho have what they call no-code automation tools, meaning you don't write code, you just click buttons and say, if this happens, then do that. So for example, you could say, if someone fills out our contact form, automatically add them as a lead in the system and send them a welcome text. No code involved, you just set it up once and it runs. But here's where it gets really powerful for you two. I can help you figure out what automations you need, write out the exact steps, and even guide you through clicking the buttons in your CRM to set them up. Think of me as your technical translator. You tell me what you want to happen in your business. I figure out how to make it happen in the CRM, and then you just follow along. Does that feel doable? And real quick, when you say you're technically illiterate, do either of you have any experience with tools like Zapier, or even just basic spreadsheet formulas? Or is it truly starting from zero?
That is a really great question. We obviously, because we use Excel, we know how to use some basic formulas. We know how to follow instructions and click and point. We have cell phones, so we know how to use certain technology. It's more, we say when we're technically illiterate, we really talk about coding. We don't know specific coding. We've grown up using computers, so we have a certain level of comfortability with them. So that's kind of where we are. And I think based on our conversation, we think HubSpot would probably be a good one. And I think we understand that you have some either agentic abilities within HubSpot as well. And when we say that there are more automations natively available from within Claude to HubSpot.
Perfect. That's actually really helpful to know. So you're not starting from zero, you just don't want to write code. That changes everything in a good way. And yeah, you're spot on about HubSpot. It's got solid native automation. And here's the thing that's really relevant for you guys. HubSpot actually integrates with tools like Zapier, which can connect to Claude's API. So what that means is you can set up workflows where information flows in from your phone calls, texts, or emails. And Claude can help process that information and automatically populate your CRM. So imagine this. A customer texts you about getting their lawn done. Instead of you manually typing that into HubSpot, that text gets captured. Claude reads it, figures out what stage of the pipeline they're in, extracts the relevant details, and automatically creates or updates their record in HubSpot. You don't lift a finger after the customer reaches out. That's the leverage you're looking for. Now, before we design your specific automation workflow, I need to ask you this. How are customers currently reaching you? Are they calling you, texting, emailing, filling out a website form?
Okay. I don't know how far we want to go into
No,
this.
this is really good. So the purpose of this is like just showing the more you talk to it, the more context that you give it, she's going to come back and give you a direction you can go down. And then there's, again, a fork at the road. Like, well, is it this or is it that? Like, where do you want to pay your attention? So I really like that because, like, again, I use that in my day-to-day. It comes down to anything. It goes all the way from, like, daily life, where I think we talked about this before. Hey, I have these things in my fridge. Like, I'm looking to, use this to make my dinner. What can I come up with? And it'll give me some examples. And then all the way to the business side of things where, hey, like, we have this problem in our business. This is kind of the constraint. This is how I envision our business to look. What are the steps I need to take in between to get there?
Yeah.
Right?
And yeah, this was just really an example of how we would maybe approach this situation so you as a business owner, you can leverage this video, you can leverage the way we're thinking about the prompting and giving it information and the way you even interact with the language model. So whether it's Claude or ChatGPT or whatever it is, use the speech function to talk to it. You can even have it just transcribe your voice, which is fine. Right. And being able to give it the right kind of context for what you're thinking, but also then you can then say, okay, well, challenge what I'm thinking. Is there a better way? Is there a faster way? Like, what are the ways that I'm not thinking about this? Challenge my thinking a bit, that you can get it to be like a little more critical. Because if you've noticed, this goes back to a previous episode where we talked about the affirmation bias, right? Where it can sound very positive and kind of like reaffirm everything, but you have to be aware that you need to then critically challenge it and even tell it to challenge what your thinking is. Mm-hmm. Otherwise, like, just to as a reality check, to say, okay, what are the things that we haven't explored that might actually solve this at a better, less energy, or even maybe a little bit more energy, but give us more scalability out of it, right?
Yeah.
And really truly evaluate all of your options with that. So that's kind of like why we're doing this, is because we can tell you, it's very easy to say, oh, you need to start to leverage AI, or this is how you leverage AI, but to specifically walk you through how to do it. I think that's where some of that is for people that maybe are less technically literate than we are.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Because, let's be fair. We spend a tremendous amount of time in this world, right? We're creating leverage and things like that. So this is second nature to us. And if you're not, then it's, well, how do I do that? How do I do that effectively? How do I learn faster? So this is our minimum effective dose, is helping you collapse that time frame of skill acquisition in this.
Absolutely.
So where would you go next with that one?
What I want to do next is, so again, because in the context of our lawn care company, I would now start giving it more details on the type of conversations I have, the way we kind of garner our leads, and what do I need to do to chase after those types of leads, right?
Yeah.
That's kind of where my brain naturally goes to.
Right. Mostly
because that's what's going to help me continue growing that CRM.
Yeah. Yeah. So like they just asked, right? So where are you getting your contacts from now? So where are they coming from? What channels are they coming in through? So those are your funnels. That's your top of funnel. So what specific channels are they coming in? And then if you go back to those, stages of the pipeline, if you know what channel's coming in and that's tagged. So from a data perspective, that's tagged to every contact. Well, as they progress through the stages, then you know which of your channels is actually driving the most amount of traffic through. And so it's back to the Hormozy, you do more of the things that work. And just because maybe you're not seeing the revenue side come in, if you don't have really good data on the front end to say, where do I actually getting my leads from? Starting a new campaign in something may not actually be the most beneficial thing that you're doing. So I think that was just, Claude is just telling us to, that it needs to retry. Okay. Anything else you want to talk about in this one?
No, I think that was a perfect live example. Again, we didn't have the prompts created. This was just live thinking.
Yeah.
Obviously this is posted after we've recorded it, but it was all done live on this like actual podcast. And, the purpose of that again was to show you that the direction that this world is heading into and the nature of like where business is going to is utilizing more of these types of skills and challenging the way you have previously approached business to now utilizing the tools and leveraging the technology that is out there right now to accelerate and become a bit more competitive in that nature.
Yeah. That's actually a really good point, is that, when we hear someone say, oh, AI is coming for your job, I'm like, again, if you've ever used AI very heavily, you know that it's not everything that some people think it is or it's cracked up to be. There's still a lot of babysitting, a lot of guardrails that you still need to have with it. But as a competitive advantage, those business owners that know and start to integrate how to use AI effectively in their business will do phenomenally better, because you can collapse time frames it takes to do things. You can automate things that used to take such a long time. They were very manual, and you invest the time to solve it once. And then you don't need someone running that, and you can do higher value work, right? I don't think anyone wants to go to a job or sign up to go to a job because all they're going to be doing is copying this to this and like doing these really manual redundant things, right? You don't challenge. It's not the challenge that you're looking for. And so this allows you to kind of like reduce the workload around all these really manual tasks that don't really need a lot. They're just repetitive, right? Don't require brain power, but traditionally they have, because we haven't had a tool like this to help us. Now you can use this more effectively to do a lot more with a lot less.
Exactly.
And those ones that take advantage of it will be phenomenally more successful because of it. And the ones that don't will fall by the wayside because they can't keep up.
Yep.
So
exactly.
With that, everyone, we want to thank you for this very special episode of BizMeds. We're your neuroscience business coaches. My name is Darius.
And I'm Saad.
And hopefully you got the minimum effective dose for your business today on how to use AI much more effectively probably than you have been. And I just went through a live version of that. So to our moms, my mom, Saad's mom, love you. Thank you so much. For everyone that's been along through this whole journey of BizMeds, and this is being our, 90-something episode, like we're coming up on 2 years straight of podcasting. And you know what? Like I love it. Otherwise we wouldn't do it. And we're here to help you as a business owner kind of get the minimum effective dose to scale your business in the right way, because, hey, we've been there. We're in the trenches right there beside you. And, sign up for the masterclass. It's there. Invest less than an hour. You get, 2 days a week back of your life. So that's a really great ROI. And remember, you're just 1 day away from the life that you've always dreamed about. So get after it. We're going to see you in the next episode.